we have a few tears that we shed every night for you. We've got a anonymous angel, which is I'm gonna read these just because why not? Just supporting y'all. That's right. It takes a village to raise a GGP. Get it? No. You're helping us maintain equipment, upgrade production, keep up with marketing, create cool swag, pay travel costs, pay convention costs. You get the idea. We would like to go to some conventions and bring GGP to cons. Thank you a zillion. That's how many thank yous you get if you do Anonymous Angel. That's $3, which Patreon keeps on yelling at me about. It's like, what are you doing? Do at least $5. And I'm like, $3 is okay for an Anonymous Angel. I think that's fine. Named Geek is the next tier. Is $6, right? Props to y'all geeks who make this podcast possible. By the way, $6 is what we pay for Podmatch, so that's why it's anyway. Time, effort, blood. Okay, maybe not blood. And tears go into this project. Your help keeps us in the game. Callback. Geeky Gamer Podcast. Come on. Your name, or the one you give us, will be hewn into the immortal internets, easily viewed, heard on each of our episodes. That could be you. You could be a named geek. Last one. I promise. It's called Swanky Swag. Now that I say it out loud, it's kind of like when you name an NPC and you say it out loud and you're like, it's not a good name.
Is that where we send our socks?
Yeah, actually. Yeah. Represent the boys. I may have been drunk when I wrote this.
Yeah, right. Well, send the socks.
You'll get our first official GGP t-shirt. Plus, every few months, we'll send you a select piece of digital art from one of our games. That digital art is completely created by Ken. I didn't even ask if I could do that. I just put it on the tier.
I mean, I'll just send you a drive as long as I don't have to do the work.
Yeah. T-shirt is delivered after 3 months of membership. Artwork will be available as we, meaning Ken, creates it. For example, every few months. Yeah, and so what that's through is basically how Patreon does it is the t-shirt costs a certain amount, and then once you do 3 months, it's paid for it and it's sent off and all that crap. And I think that's all through Patreon. So, and the logo's cool.
That's Patreon. Another way you can actually support us is by going to dreadlore.com and picking up the Dreadlore core book.
That's also
Bill has written this book. And it's really great. It's a TTRPG set and setting and everything. And you got all the materials in this book. There's also a softback. And I think there are digital copies that you can get as well. So
yeah, there are. There's also a getting started guide if you don't want a 500-page rule book.
Sure.
Although the thing with that book is it's the deluxe edition. So it's got all of the art, literally everything is in it. It's the tome.
And if you don't like my art, I did no art in this book. So that's another reason. If you do like it, it's zero
art.
I had nothing to do. I saw him like edit the last finishing touches of the podcast, and that was it. That was it.
I'm about to come out with a couple new adventures, and I'm trying to make them a little bit more OSRi feeling, and some new character sheets that actually will make character creation like 15 minutes rather than 45. So anyway. And
you can catch out our Monday night stream on Twitch /Dreadlore.
If you watch Twitch.
Yeah, if you watch Twitch.
If you're on Twitch.
And it is a I think you just search Dreadlore and you can see the book
Dreadlore system.
The system in play. Or you could do a YouTube search for our. We should probably put a link Can you find our game, our Monday night game?
That's actually a good question.
On this channel, it is possible. Possibly not. Who knows?
Super possible.
Anything is possible.
Just will.
Early days. We're early days.
Reviewing D6 Adventure.
Yeah. We're only 35 episodes in. We're at the end of season 1. Season 2 will be better.
Here's a question. Why does my Apple phone keep on auto-correcting rulebook to fentanyl?
Yeah. My I don't know, but mine does. Every time I spell out it spells theater. I have the autocorrect turned off, by the way.
I really don't like autocorrect. Okay.
Yeah.
They did an update, I think, and it screwed it up. I used to marvel at iPhone's ability, and now I'm like, I hate you, iPhone.
Sure. Yeah, that's
bane
normal.
of my existence.
It's great the newness is worn off, and now it's just a job.
Yeah. All right. So this book, it's printed out 8.5 by 11. Look at this. I printed it out. I actually have no idea where I got this. None. I found it. I found it in my room and was like, oh, a book. It says index page 144. So I have a feeling that these pages are numbered oddly. I don't think it has 140. Yeah. Page 12, 13. There's no way I have 144 pages here. So I have part of the book, the creation part of the book, and that's it. I got some of this book. Thankfully, we have the whole book online, which the PDF looks free, and it's D6. So your 6-sided dice. Duh. D6 is one of my favorite systems. Ken, what do you know about D6? Tell us everything.
Well, I think D6, is that like a OSR thing? Am I making that up? I feel like I stole that from you and I just a few minutes ago. D6 are 6-sided dice. Yes. And so you've got just 1 in 6 chance, or to roll. You
can do it several different ways. The different systems do it differently, of course. So OSR is a feeling in the game. That's the wrong word. My buddy Jeff would be able to explain this a lot better. So OSR, when tabletop role playing games started, they didn't call it OSR, right? Because it was just gaming. And then there was kind of this newer style of gaming that came about in the 90s and the aughts and then now. I think that is exemplified by D&D 5th edition and the new D&D that's coming out or has come out, whatever. And then you can look back to old school gaming and say, oh, that's old school gaming. So OSR stands for old school revival or old school renaissance. It's the old school of gaming versus new. And it usually had to do with D20 systems or maybe a D6 or a D100, just because that's what was around. But the way the expectations of the players of the game and the game master, like what you're doing at the table, that's the old school. Yeah. D6. Oh yeah, you dropped your dice already? Awesome.
Yeah. Well, I got all kinds of dice. This is.
Those look like craps dice.
Yeah, they're. I got my. My
fuck is that?
LGBTQ die, my rainbow die. I got my red die.
I did not tie that to LGBTQ stuff.
I got my.
Those are your hippie dice.
These are like my grandparents' die. I stole these from my
I was talking about the rainbow one.
Oh,
I thought they were. It reminded me of like Rasta stuff. Like
it is kind of Rasta-y. It doesn't.
I did not think it was LGBT.
Red, orange, yellow. It's not. The unfortunate thing is it's not.
Well, it's got turquoise in there.
Yeah, it's got all of it.
I don't think that's a rainbow, dog.
No, it's red, orange, yellow, green, blue.
It's a spectrum of colors. But...
yeah, it's a spectrum. That's what a rainbow is. It's a spectrum. We're all on a spectrum. Everybody's gay, man. Everybody's a little gay.
Ain't no turquoise in the Roy G. Biv.
You gotta have it's 1 and 4. I think
1 and 4.
Yeah, I got
1 and 4. What?
1 and 4 die is gay.
Oh. Actually, the Kinsey scale. I think it's 0 to 6.
Is it 0 to 6?
7. I think it is 0 to 6.
Well, I live in,
anyway.
The population density is more fun than, say, the average here.
So, yeah, in D6, the way that I have played it, we'll find out what it is in this game. The way I played it is you'll have your attributes, which is very similar to D&D. So one of the things that Jeff McNeil and I were talking about a while ago, this is actually something, I'm paraphrasing something that he said, was the old games, a lot of them were kind of the same. Because, they were just building off of each other. So you have your attributes, whatever they are in this. It's probably strength, intelligence, wisdom, the same thing that it is in D&D. And you put a certain number of dice to them. So you'd be like, 1 die means you're not good at it. 4 dice means you're much better at it. And so when you roll your dice, you add them all up and you're looking for higher and higher numbers. And that can work really, really well. Usually one of the dice is an exploding die. So you roll a 6, you keep on rolling it, you roll a 1 and it takes stuff away. So let's say you rolled 2 dice, you rolled a 1 on one of them. Or you rolled 3 dice, rolled a 1, a 3, and a 6. The 1 would go away and the 6 would go away. So that's the critical failure. Sure. You kind of get screwed in numbers. Whereas with the 6, if you roll at 6 and it's the wild die, boom, 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 you just keep on rolling. That's typically the basis. You can do other stuff. There's a system called GURPS, which is an interesting system. One of the more mechanical ones. And I believe you roll 3d6 always. And you're trying to get below a certain number. So, for example, if something is really hard, it might be a difficulty of 3. So you have to roll 1, 1, 1.
Cool.
Stuff like that. This one, we'll find out what it is. I have a feeling it's more akin to what I first described. It's an interesting sort of bell curve. So it becomes very easy to go from really shitty at something like 1 die to average. It takes very little experience to get a little bit of skill, but it takes way more experience to actually get good. And oftentimes the attributes are very, very expensive. So instead of buying up your strength or up your dexterity or something, you would buy up your skills. So your skills in guns or in driving or in riding a horse. And you become you'll have 3 dice in dexterity, but 10 dice in, using a whip, that kind of stuff. Okay. Of course, pitfalls in the system, usually in D6. Anytime you have some kind of magic point, or in Star Wars, force points, or miracle points, or whatever you want to call them, and it doubles your dice pool. So boom, let's say you got 10 dice in using whips. Well, now you have 20 D6 that you roll. And just tons and tons and tons of numbers. You get dice bloat at certain levels of the game. So, let's find out what Nikola Vrtis, the designer, did with this game.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure. You want to do some reading on it? Last time I did a whole bunch of reading.
I know. I think you're better at reading than I am. I mean, I can read. I have the ability to read. I was never, I was never great at it. And the font, the way this is, it's too small for me to read it on that scale. I'm going to have to open up a different browser in order to see it. There's a lot of
Well,
contents. I can tell you all about the contents, though. There's an introduction. There's key terms, character basics, character options, improving characters, game basics, movement, combat, damage, healing, more combat options, example, skill difficulties, magic, pre-calculated spells, sonics, equipment, game master tips, adventure tips, templates, D6 reference sheet, code simplification index, and OGL.
All right. Being a generic system, D6 Adventure contains no setting information and provides rules material for playing in a wide variety of modern or near modern cinematic settings, including action adventure, pulp, espionage, Western, and low-powered superhero games. West End Games has released one world book for D6 Adventures, a reworking of the master book titled Blood Shadows. So it was published in 2004.
Nice.
The designer is Nikola Vrtis. I'm assuming it's Vrtis. It has a VR. So Vrtis. Big old history. I'm reading from the Wikipedia.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So you're reading from a different... I was like, where are you getting this information?
Yeah.
This
There's
is not the
D6
book.
Fantasy, D6 Space, all that.
Space.
So I'm gonna say this is probably gonna seem a lot like it's gonna probably seem a lot like D&D. But I don't know how OSR it will be. In the comments, y'all can help us know what's up. Okay, cover art by Chris Dehan. Cover graphic design by Eric Gibson. Interior graphic design, Nikola Vrtis. Proofreader, we're going to get on this guy, Kevin McGregor. Publisher, Eric Gibson. And we won't go through all of the people because there are a lot of people. Based on material by and with special thanks to D6 System, Master Book, Bill Smith, Greg Farshty, whole bunch of different people. All right. Boom. We're going to skip the table of contents. And yet again, what is a role-playing game?
There's a long introduction.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to skip a lot of it.
You're not going to... Well, we should at least read the very first paragraph.
I'll read the first part. But the part about what do I do next and what do I need to play and what's a role-playing game?
Yeah. What's a role-playing game?
In fact, when I do the player book for Dreadlore and the Arbiter's book, just to scale down the page count, I will not put that in there. Okay. Yeah. This book provides the fundamentals necessary to play in a Wild West, Pulp Fiction, modern adventure, espionage, low-level superhero, or similar setting, using West End Games' famous D6 system role-playing game rules. If you're reading this book, well, yeah, of course I'm reading it. You probably already know what a role-playing game is. In case you need a refresher or to explain it to your friends, we suggest telling them that this is an interactive storytelling game wherein they play the part of major characters in the story. If they're still interested, let them read this introduction. They definitely won't be bored.
Yeah, not at all.
You might also want to start with this introduction if you've role-played before. What? If you've role-played before getting this book, but it wasn't with the D6 system. Okay, we're not going to read on.
Yeah, okay. And sometimes you're better off dead. If there's a gun in your hand and it's pointing at your head, you think that you're mad, too unstable, kicking in chairs and knocking down the tables. It's a West End town. Call the police. There's a madman around, running down the underground to the dive bar in a West End town.
Are you reading Bob Dylan lyrics? What the hell is going on?
No, I'm reading West End Girls by the Pet Shop Boys. West End Games.
System overview. This overview provides basic... Okay, I get it. You're about to tell me what's up. Making actions. Each player has a character with attributes and skills that describe how well that character can perform various actions. Okay. Do you have a character sheet up? I think that would benefit.
What page is that on?
It's the very last page.
Okay.
Or should be the very last page.
Hold on. I think this will perform better if I download it.
Yeah. Attributes represent a character's innate abilities, while skills are specific applications of those abilities. I'm just going to read from this thing.
Yeah, read it.
Most game mechanics in D6 involve rolling some 6-sided dice. A die code associated with each attribute and skill represents how good the character is in that area. A die code associated with a weapon shows how much harm it can cause. The larger the number, the more experienced, trained, or naturally adept your character is, or the more deadly the weapon, or the more useful the equipment. So combat is likely going to be a big part of this, which makes it just an action type of game. Each die code indicates the number of 6-sided dice you roll when you want your character to do something. 1D, 2D, 3D, 4D, 5D. And sometimes an added bonus called pips of +1, +2. You add to the total result you roll on the dice. Okay. Example. If your character's physique attribute is 3D +1, when you have her, interesting they use the her in this book.
Is it because she's better?
No. So this is something, when I was writing Dreadlore, I was really paying attention to pronouns. And it wasn't because of the conversation at the time. It's because I had read a book many moons ago, and it used, instead of for the third person singular, he, his, him, etc., it used the feminine. Mm-hmm. And there's no explanation. It just did it. And I was like, that's interesting. That's interesting because it actually makes me change kind of my thought. I imagine a girl playing. Mm-hmm. Whereas in the argument for using he, him, his is just, it's what you do just as the standard, every person. But it does change the psychology. Anyway, they use the feminine in this. Interesting. Okay. Remember, this is done in like 2004. Okay.
Yeah, this is way before.
Yeah, way before it was cool to be gay, or to be LGBTQ, or to be gender tolerant, or to be whatever you want to call it.
I don't know if it's cool. I just, maybe accepted, more accepted.
We'll go with that.
So I don't know. It's like, okay, it's fine.
Well, okay. I'm saying it's cool because if you do it, then you're able to then virtue signal. Oh, look at how accepting you're being.
Yeah.
Versus if it was just accepted, it'd be like, oh, you're doing it that way. But that's not what it's considered. It's, oh, you're doing a thing on purpose. Well, why? Versus if it was he, him, his, we wouldn't even think about it. That's what I'm trying to say.
My perception, which, is probably wrong because I'm old, it's to get more women to play. Because we were just a bunch of guys playing, and so it just
bunch of dudes.
It gives credence, and it makes guys more in touch with their feminine side if they're thinking about women maybe more often.
Example: if your character's physique is 3D +1, when you have her try to lift a cargo container, you would roll 3 dice and add 1 to the total to get her result. Okay. To represent the randomness of life and the tons of little modifiers that go along with it, every time you roll dice, make sure that one of them is of a different color than the others. This special die is the wild die, and it can have some interesting effects on your dice total. If you only have 1 die to roll, then that die is the wild die. If the wild die comes up as 2, 3, 4, or 5, add the result to the other dice normally. If the wild die comes up as a 6, this is a critical success. Add the 6 to your other dice results and roll the wild die again. As long as you roll a 6, you keep adding the 6 and you keep rolling. If you roll anything else, you add that number to the total and stop rolling. If the wild die comes up as a 1 on the first roll, this is a crit failure. Tell the game master, who will let you know whether or not to add it to your total. Interesting. Okay. So if you roll a 1, you tell the game master, yo, I rolled a 1 on the wild die. And they will let you know whether or not to add that 1. Okay. Let's continue. The higher you roll, the better your character accomplishes the task at hand. When your character tries doing something, the game master decides on the required skill and a difficulty based on the task's complexity. The game master doesn't usually tell you the difficulty number you need to equal or beat to succeed.
Hard rolls.
Interesting. He often won't inform you which tasks are easier and which are harder, though he might give you hints.
Oh, well.
For example, catching your grappling hook around that small outcropping is going to be pretty hard.
Damn hard.
Damn straight. The game master then uses the rules to interpret the die roll and determine the results of the action. Whoa. Okay, so
did they switch gender on us or no?
Yeah, the game master's a dude.
Okay.
So maybe the example was just a woman.
Yeah.
Or a she, as I should be.
Yeah, I think we're bringing too much. We're talking about it too much. I think we could bring that aspect back. I'm gonna play a woman. I'm gonna play a woman character this game.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. It's interesting though. So the wild die benefits you.
Yeah.
If you roll a 6, you keep on rolling 6. But if you roll a 1, I mean, other than just rolling a 1, it's not that big of a deal. Basically, you might lose the die. As in, the game master says, yeah, you can't add that 1. But otherwise, it doesn't say anything about the crit failure dealing with the fiction. It's more like, well, the numbers say that you basically lost a die, which is in favor of the characters,
sure.
Right?
No.
The way that I have played with my buddy Patrick in Star Wars D6 is that 1 removes the die and the highest die you rolled. But that is clearly hard mode.
Yeah.
What you think?
I think
that makes sense.
I think hard mode is good in a one shot. But yeah, I think it does make it more difficult if you're. But I mean, it's all random. Like if I rolled 6s every time, it wouldn't be a game.
Right.
Failure is wonderful. Like in stuff like this, I think it's.
So they say.
Yeah.
Yeah. People say that, and they're like, "Dude, my fucking life sucks. I don't want it to suck in game."
Yeah. Right.
Like. That's literally been said to me on many, many occasions. I had a player and they were like, this has been a long time ago and this person I don't like anymore. But at the time I did. And they were like, look, this is my escapism. I'm not doing this to have reality. I hate reality. And I was like, you probably shouldn't be playing this game. This is a kind of therapy that...
Well, you can hate reality and still, fail in a supernatural, super powerful game. I mean, it's fantasy. I mean, it's not like you're playing like a banker who has to go into work and then like every day there's no bank robberies. They just got to go and make transactions.
You just gotta go to work and make it roll. Like it's a good point, and it's also a good point that people are like, in real life, it's like, dude, your heart is beating and your lungs are filling with air and such. Like this is real life. Yeah. we don't hit pause.
Yeah, as a DM, next time I game master, I will. I was like, did you breathe this turn?
That's a joke. That's actually a joke. People are like, oh yeah, you're gonna make me roll in that? Okay, did I breathe? It's crap like that.
Right.
Basically, it's that those are the people that throw their controllers when they play video games.
Sure.
Except they can blame you. Punksicle messaged me the other day with one of the Instagram stories, and it was some dichotomy of what a game master is. A person who leads the game and through this epic adventure, this whole thing. And then what it really is an unexpected, poorly prepared therapist that didn't even ask to be a therapist. Like, that's kind of what a GM is.
Yeah, I'll play that.
Okay, taking damage. To describe how much injury a character can sustain, the game master decides on one of two ways of determining how much damage a character can take: body points or wounds. I prefer wounds. Body points sound like hit points, but they didn't want to say hit points. Which, with the body points system, Ken, let's talk about some body points real quick.
Let me see that. What is that song? Let me see that body points. Body
points.
I think that's a song.
It probably is a song.
Yeah.
With body points, each character has a certain number of body points, which are figured out when you create your character. You subtract their hit points. With the wound system, each character has a certain number of wounds. You roll your character's physique, while the attacker rolls damage. Compare the difference between the damage and the physique roll to the wounds level chart. This chart lets you know how many wounds your character gets from the attack. In either system, when your character has no more body points or wounds left, she's toast.
Oh, shit.
So it sounds like when they're talking about the player or an example of a player, they're using she. Otherwise, for the game master, they're using he. Interesting.
Sure. Well, the guys typically have the power.
See, it's interesting you say that. It's interesting you see. And just 10 minutes ago, like, it's not that big of a deal. They're just doing stuff. You blah, 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 blah. No, but immediately, when the game master's the dude, patriarchy.
No, it's the patriarchy.
Non-existent bullshit. Okay, fine. Improving roles.
I just say it because you like it.
I know. I knew it. Improving roles. In addition to scores for a character's attributes and skills, she has fate points and character points too. Mm-hmm. Fate points and character points. You can spend these points in particularly difficult and heroic situations. When you spend a character point, you get to roll one extra die when your character tries to complete a task. Okay? You may choose to spend a character point after you've made a roll, in case you want to improve your result. When you spend a fate point, that means your character is using all of her concentration to try to succeed. You may spend a fate point only before any die rolls are made. Doing so doubles the number of dice you'd normally roll, usually for one round and one action only. Though the game master may allow players to spend more fate points in particularly challenging moments, this allows the character to do one action really well. Once a character point or fate point is used, it's gone. You gain more character points at the end of each game, or end of a game, for completing goals and playing well. You may get back fate points at the end of the game if they were used at a brave, heroic, or climactic moment. See, that's a dangerous thing in books, to say it that way. It's really, it's dangerous. Because a player will be like, well, hold on a second. That was brave.
Yeah,
Do I get it back?
Nobody could open that jar of pickles as well as you. It was a magic jar of pickles.
Okay, so character points are basically you spend. It says you spend one, and you get an extra die.
You spend two.
It says you may choose to spend a character point.
Yeah.
It doesn't say how many.
Yeah.
Oh God.
That could be we're going to argue about that. I would like to spend 5 character points.
It's just setting it up for arguments, is what it is. And then you have your fate points. You may spend a fate point only before dice are rolled. So you have to be like, I'm going to spend a fate point. I think the obvious spirit of this is you can't be like, let's spend 10 fate points. Mm-hmm. That makes no sense. Or does it? In the rules, it's technically a loophole. So what that's going to mean is the game master is never going to allow you to have more than one fate point. Or make a house rule that says you can only spend one. As for character points, I think that's an interesting house rule. Okay, try it out. Now that you have the basics down, let's try out a short scenario. First, you'll need a character. On the next page, you'll find a template. Holy crap, it's going to lead us through an adventure. Most of the game characteristic information is filled in.
Nice. That means we don't even have to deal with it.
Do I have 2 page 4s? I do. It'd be awesome if all I had were page 4s after this. Aha! You've got some chick who's jumping in a mini dress.
I think part of the reason why
we're gender bending.
I think it's it distinguishes between the arbiter and the player. So like I think it's good to have the male and the female, because then you know, like if it says she, then it breaks it down. Okay, that's the player. If it says he, it breaks it down. Okay, that's the arbiter or the game master. Do you have trademark arbitration? Is that trademark for?
No. I'm cool with people using arbiter. I think arbiter is a better word for it.
Yeah.
Because it is not antagonistic. It's in fact, ambivalent isn't the right word, but the arbiter can be ambivalent. They could be for you or against you. But the idea is they're neutral. It's a neutral party that cares about the story, and the game's not about winning or losing. Is that a cat?
Yeah.
Hi, meow.
I forgot to feed the kitty cat this afternoon for afternoon.
Hi, meow.
You gonna say hello? You're not even gonna look up, are you? There you go. Yeah.
Hey, meow. Hey. For those of you that are listening to the podcast, there is a very fluffy
tuxedo
cat.
Kitty, Fluffy's tuxedo kitty that is hungry. All right. That is here and is going to start biting me if I don't go feed her.
You probably should go feed that cat.
I think that's on the list of shit to do right now. Are you good for the moment? Do you want to keep reading while
throw up the character sheet?
Yeah, I got it up there.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, there's just a delay. Is it the example character sheet?
Yeah.
One with the lady jumping?
Yeah, the lady jumping. 3D1 reflexes. I'll be right back. I'm going to feed this kitty cat.
So we're going to try it out. The attributes and skills are listed in 2 columns on the left-hand side of the page. This is interesting. The idea of your character sheet in a game. When we would play, when my gaming grew back in the day, got really used to like Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition. Or D6 or whatever. A lot of people just wrote down their character sheets on their paper, as in they wouldn't use a character sheet because you don't really need it if you understand the game. It's interesting though that there are certain games that you really do need the character sheet. Like with the character sheet is so integrated into the system itself, and the process of playing the game requires it. It's a needed thing. And I'm not entirely certain if I think that's better or worse, or if it's just relative to the game and the situation. What I mean by that is, for example, what's the game that we just played? It's not Monsters Are Heroes. Oh crap! And I'll use Dreadlord because I can't remember the game that we're talking about, or that gave me this idea. The new Dreadlord character sheets, boom, you have them, and to play the game, you need the book to know all the bits and pieces about everything in the game. But a new player could use the character sheet and create a character just with the character sheet, and know what to do on their turns just with the character sheet. So literally you sit down to learn the game. It's like, boom, here you go. The character sheet is like 2 pages. And I entirely pilfered that from this game that all of my friends just showed me. And I cannot remember what the name of the game is. At any rate, in that way, the character sheet is integral to playing the game, assuming you're new to the game. With this, I have a feeling that you don't necessarily need the character sheet once you understand the game. We'll find out. So the attributes names. Of course, there's 6 of them, and they refuse to call them the D&D names. Fine, D6 Adventure. Ye generic body points. Reflexes, coordination, Physique. Presence. Knowledge. Perception. Extra normal. Not supernatural. Extra normal. Lord. Are printed in bold above the skill names. There are more skills in the game than the ones listed on this sheet. But these are the ones commonly associated with the type of profession this template is supposed to represent. So this is an amalgamation just from my people in comments. Please let me know what you think, if you've experienced this or if you disagree. This reminds me of somebody, perhaps Nikola Vrtis, saw D10, something like World of Darkness, Vampire the Masquerade, and D&D. And was like, I know what I'm going to do. All right. Which is fine. Fine. So you see your character sheet. You're playing a lady. It looks like she is a bounty hunter. So you get to be a brownie. Or you can make a character too. We can get to character creation. You can make a character if you want. All right. On the far left column below the gray line at the bottom, you'll find strength damage. This shows how much harm your damage can cause with brute force. So what is your strength damage right now?
Where did it say that? Oh, it says 2D.
2D. So roll 2 dice. That's probably average, I would say.
Do they have to be different colors? Can I spend a fate point?
No. Actually, you could spend a fate point.
I got 11.
So if you spent a fate point, you'd roll it twice, and you double your die pool.
Oh,
so it'd
yeah?
be 4 dice instead of. But one of them has to be a wild die.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I got 20.
Did you roll a 6 or a 1 on that?
Yeah, I
wild die?
rolled 2 5s, a 4, and a 6.
Okay. Was the wild die a 6 or a 1?
I'm going to say the wild die was a 5.
Okay. So that's part of the roll, is you have to designate which one is the wild die for sure. Oftentimes I roll that first or last.
Yeah, it was last. I just used the last die as the wild die.
So you got 20. Probably brained somebody with 20. We haven't gotten that far, but I'm assuming like 6 is probably easy. 12 is probably medium. Yeah. 18 is difficult, and it goes up that kind of way. All right. Right next to those, okay, in the center column below the gray line are some more characteristics. Fate points and character points show the number of these special role improving bonuses your character currently has. Funds is a measure of we understand what all that means. Below that is move. This characteristic lists the number of meters your character can easily walk in 5 seconds. This quick encounter doesn't require using any of these. Yeah, when I looked at this character sheet, I thought several points were unneeded.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, the character sheet that I have with this game, which must be from a different setting, looks radically different from this.
Sure. I like the idea of like perception over wits. I like that term better.
Shut up.
Or knowledge. Knowledge is good too.
No. It sounds good. It sounds good because you're like, yeah, it's knowledge. It's very simple, straightforward. It's knowledge. Here's the thing. How often do you use knowledge? Like just knowledge. Knowledge. Just knowledge.
I mean, I guess so. It's a combination. But if you were to equate it to the Dreadlord game, knowledge would be mind, right? And wits would be kind of perception.
I would say that, yeah.
Yeah, but I guess that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I said that rather emphatically. Now I'm questioning it.
Maybe not.
Well, here's the question. Do you want to have 6 attributes or 4 or 3 or 2? And the more attributes you have, basically the reason to do that is so that the players don't level up too fast.
Yeah. I mean, this game, you've got 7 attributes, is my guess.
You should have 6.
Or 6.
1, 2, 3,
well,
4,
extra
5,
normal.
You have 7. You have 7.
Yeah,
You have 7. You're right. You're right. Yeah, I think I see automatic loopholes with this. Like extra normal is probably all magic, which means if you boost your extra normal all the way, you're a demon at magic. So these systems get rather crunchy pretty quick. Whereas a rules light, you're gonna move away from the mechanics and only get into mechanics if you absolutely have to. So for example, it would be roll 3d6. Like you're going to do something, roll 3d6, add a modifier, done. Those are everything else is in the fiction. The goal of rules light is you're leaning towards the fiction, and the rules only come in here and there. In my experience, rules light either is too light on the rules, so it actually limits kind of what you can do because everything just is evened out. Like, oh, you hit him with a gun, or you hit him with your fist, or you hit him with an eraser top. Kind of like in our Monsters or Heroes. You do 6 damage. Cool. You do 6 damage. It's like, okay, well, if there's no stakes, then it kind of levels it out and it doesn't matter. It makes things a little silly. Or the rules light are so baked into it, it's like, oh, do you use your opportunity point? Cool. Well, I use my pivot point. Okay, well, I'll use my opportunity point. And so actually, in the attempt to be very light on the rules and not complicated, the game is actually playing the rules. And it's not about the fiction. That's my own whatever.
Sure. No, it's good. Good. I'm glad.
Moving. You can move that number of meters in 5 seconds. You can walk it in 5 seconds. Ken, how many meters can you walk in 5 seconds?
Well, it's 30 feet, right?
No.
I mean, I don't know if not. I've never measured. I think they chose 10 just because it's a, okay, I'm gonna.
Oh, was it 10? Oh, it's 10 on the thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk 2. It's a
10 meters.
I mean, I think they should have based it on a D6. Honestly.
Is a meter?
It's 3 feet? Like 3 feet.
Or is it? I can't remember if it's more or less. I think it's a little more.
It's close. It's approximately 3 feet.
Okay. So it's about 30 feet. Can you walk 30 feet in 5 seconds?
I mean, maybe a slight run.
Yeah, it's moving. That's not like strolling. All right. 5 seconds. So 5 seconds and meters. All right, they're going metric. In the far right column, you'll see advantages, disadvantages, special abilities, and description of your character. These give you an idea of what your kind of character you're playing. The equipment paragraph lists stuff you have. Below that are body points, wound levels, and the related body point ranges for your character. Each of these represents how much injury your character can take. This short adventure won't use wounds or the body points range, so you can ignore them.
Oh.
Instead, you only need to use your body points number. Wait, what? Oh, I see. So you have hit points. Ergo, hit points is just maybe easier for this.
Sure.
Wounds sounds like condition levels to me, which is kind of a World of Darkness type thing. Now that you can find your way around a character template, let's fill in the missing game characteristics, okay? To keep it easy, pick 7 skills that you want your character to have experience or training in. So, pick your skills, dude.
Oh, who, me?
Yeah, you're the person who has... You're the lady.
I am the lady. Do I need to print this out or something?
I don't know.
Is that... I'm just going to use this as a basis? This. All right.
Yeah, that's the idea. It's like a half filled out character sheet.
Let's see if I can print it out. I think that would probably be the easiest thing.
Yeah, or you can write it down. You just write down your D's. How many D's you have?
For each aspect.
Yes.
But if I print it out, then I don't even have the...
Yeah, do that. Do you have a printer?
I do.
Are you one of those people that has a printer?
I do. I got a laser printer. It's gonna require me to disappear for a second.
You know, it's times like these when I like to talk about the Patreon. We do have a Patreon for Geeky Gamer Podcast, and we're doing a bit of a rebranding. We're still going to have interviews with people that are geeky and talk to them about what they're geeky about, but we're really in this season 2 going to focus on game creators and having them do what we're doing right now. Lead us through character creation, maybe run a little adventure. And when we don't have a guest, or when the guest bails or doesn't know call no show, we'll review games, maybe even try to play test them and that kind of thing. I think that's pretty interesting. I think it's a good direction. That said, every so often having an episode with like a filmmaker, I think is interesting, because you and I are into film so much. But the focus is going to be on games. Yeah.
So if you go to page 120, 128, there's like more different. There's more different people.
Oh, there's different templates.
Yeah, there are. Let's see if I can.
So the printout that I have is just the beginning.
Okay. So it's probably best that I just stick to her.
Yeah, just think that you were going to gender bend anyway. So
yeah, well, I mean, there's another. I could play. It looks like a call woman, like a sex worker. I was kind of
play whoever you want to play.
I mean, she's got a lot of special abilities and equipment and stuff. I could be wrong though. I mean, I'm just
whichever you want to do is perfectly fine with me.
Okay.
I don't care. Also, we're just gonna run through this little adventure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Although this is not game character creation, it's just this is more like how to play the game, which is fine.
I think that's one of the hardest things with any new game is how do you play? It's rolling a character is one thing, but
well, and people have to they've got to do what we're doing right now, and a lot of people won't do it.
Yeah. I mean, that's any new game. You got to sit down and
I'll tell you what people do. One person learns how to play it, and then teaches them how to play it. So making characters, I can almost guarantee you, is you get a certain amount of die that you can put in your 7 attributes. You can't go above a certain die, which is probably 4 dice. And it's like, okay, you have to have at least 1 die in everything. Go. And then once you do that, you get a certain amount of like pips you can add. It likely goes 2 pips and then the next die. So for example, 3 die plus 1, 3 die plus 2, then it goes to 4 die. So it's just like in Dreadlore where you're adding ranks, except you're doing dice and then the pips to the dice. And then you get a certain number you can add to skills. And that's making a character. Likely.
Oh, I printed it out and it printed out page 4, but so I have to add 1 to the thing, even though it's page 5. It says it's page 5.
Burn.
I know.
The cover is not 1.
I was just like,
dude, this girl fights in flats with her mitts. Yeah. Like she's like Spider-Man and down. I don't know what she's jumping off of. All right. So go ahead and do your print stuff.
I did. I printed it, and it printed up the page before. So it's a jerk. Things are jerks.
Your body points are 33. Oh, nice. Interesting. I wonder where they got that. You probably roll for it.
Yeah.
Based on your maybe occupation. This is aspiring hero.
That's kind of like low level.
It's probably not very high, because I mean 33 divided by 6. What is that? About 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So 5 dice can kill you.
Yeah.
If they're rolling high, so 12 dice.
So
you're not weak by any stretch.
I feel like I want to be a Natalie or a Nikita or a Nancy. Maybe Nancy.
It goes through what skills are, reflexes. So the skills are attached to your attributes.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if you're going to do acrobatics, that is actually rolling your reflexes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you haven't put any points or any pips into acrobatics, you would roll your reflexes, not your acrobatics.
Mm-hmm.
Raising your reflexes is going to be really expensive. Raising your acrobatics is not going to be expensive. But of course, we haven't gotten to the point where you make. We have. Cost of character creation is on page 16.
16.
Yeah, but it's saying we can just run through this.
Okay, so I don't need to
keep it
add
easy,
any additional.
So pick 7 skills that you want your character to be able to do. So on your character sheet,
yeah,
put a little mark next to 7 skills. Those are not very many.
Mm.
So brawling would be 1, tech, willpower, whatever. This is another issue with D6.
Mm-hmm.
It is simple in terms of the numbers that you allocate, but there are hordes of skills.
Yeah.
And you can get really kind of screwed over by it. We played a game, an infamous, it's more than famous, game of Vampire the Masquerade. Anyone who was in that game, I'm going to talk about this. Where my character, who was playing a old ass vampire, who has tons of like strength, right? In terms of like, superhuman strength, jumps off of a 3-story building and lands. And the description was kind of like in the very first scene of Underworld. He jumps off a building and lands and is all cool, right? Well, it turns out when you jump in Dark Ages Vampire the Masquerade, it is a dexterity roll, not a strength roll. Well, my strength was really high. My dex was like average. So the ST, the storyteller, was like, wait, you jump off? And I was like, yeah, I've got like I can pick up a car and throw it. I can drop down and my muscles are so that my vampire strength, I can land. That's how that would work. He's like, cool, roll your dex. And I was like, what? Okay, 2. He's like, yeah, you break your legs and go unconscious. So I land in combat, broken, blood everywhere. And literally, if I get hit one more time, I'm dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's stupid. He's like, well, it's in the book. It's a dex roll. It's like, but what? How is it dex? He's like, oh, you fall. So that's a problem. Although it's not a problem with D6, it's a problem with super skill-based games.
Yeah,
because Vampire the Masquerade is a D10
and it
game.
sounds like your arbiter, your game master, was kind of being a dick. They're like, you don't have jump off of building ability.
Well, I do get where he's coming from.
Sure, but you get it, but
it's a way of playing.
You think that a vampire can jump off a building and not die? I mean, they can turn into bats, for God's sake.
It was really funny. At the same time, I was like, dude.
Wow. So these are special abilities? Is that?
No, they're skills.
Skills. Where is that written down? Is that extra normal?
So underneath your attributes being the bold things on the right.
Yeah.
So reflexes, knowledge, coordination, etc.
Yeah,
those words underneath them, those are your skills. Pick 7 of them.
I already have 7. I got acrobatics, brawling, climbing, dodge, jumping, melee combat, and then sneak.
No. Oh, you already marked them. Okay.
Well, they exist. That the character came pre-filled out with 7.
No, mark underneath of them, as in like mark next to them a little tally or a little asterisk of the ones you want. Because right now, okay, here's how it works.
Yeah.
You have all the skills in the game.
Sure.
Okay. It's just you don't have them beyond your attributes. For example, if you wanted to do melee combat, what's your reflexes?
3D plus 1.
Right. If you wanted to do climbing, what's your what would you roll?
I guess a 3D plus 1.
Correct. Because while you technically have those skills, you have not improved them. So what we're talking about right now is what 7 skills do you want to improve?
And it's 7 out of all of the aspects on the whole page.
Correct.
So I can bonus any of them. I was kind of looking at the special abilities, and I wanted the extra body part.
Don't do that.
Okay.
We'll do that later. For right now, we'll do skills.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm fine. We're fine. Everything's fine.
Can I play a troll? No. No, you can't play a troll. You're playing a girl in a short dress with
very
flats.
short. Yeah, flats and a short dress. I'm gonna boost my ability.
If she falls, she is scraping her knees.
Well, I'm not gonna boost swimming. That's that. You know, the last thing was nowhere near water until the end.
Shit is totally gonna be underwater.
Everything's gonna be underwater. All right, so I got 7 boosts of these.
Correct, and we're gonna find out what that means. So pick 7 of them.
All right, I'm gonna do it arbitrarily. Okay.
All right, let's see. What the fuck? Hold on a second. Skips a page. Look at the die code next to the attribute that the first skill is listed under. So what's the first skill that you picked?
Dodge.
Okay. So the die code is 3D plus 1. And add 1 to the number in front of the D. Okay, so you have, wow, that's awesome. So
4D.
you have 4D plus 1. That's excellent. All right, write this new die code next to the skill. And do that for each of the 7 skills you picked. So the reflexes does not go up. The skill goes up.
I see. I'm gonna do. It could go up 2 if I wanted it to, or just 1.
Well, this says pick 7 skills.
3, 4,
so
5,
no.
6. Okay.
If I were just, let's see, then fill the top of the sheet if you'd like with your character name. Who gives a shit? In addition to your character sheet, you'll need a pencil and a whole bunch of shit. La 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 la.
Gotcha.
It says, as you go through this, don't read the sections in order. Instead, start with the number 1. What? Make a selection and read the selection where your selection tells you to go. So it's a choose your own adventure. Awesome.
Gotcha. Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna say, well, we're gonna play it by the book. I immediately want to house rule stuff, but then we're not really playing the game.
Yeah. Because they had their.
Are you ready?
Yep.
An ordinary day. The crisp breeze on this bright day tugs at your jacket as you stroll through the streets of a town that looked interesting enough to stop in on your way across the country. You vagabond. As you read the titles of some novels on display, what? You hear a harsh voice say, apparently there's novels. You're near a bookstore. As you look through the window and there's novels that you're looking at, you hear a harsh voice say, your money or your life. A quick glance reveals no one standing near you, so it must have been from the alleyway, a meter or so to your left. What do you do?
Well, I'm clearly a hero. That is my plug, I guess.
You're an aspiring hero.
So turning the other direction is what I would do probably. I was like, just turn around.
It's like I'm an aspiring actor, okay?
Turn around and see what happens. I would clearly run over to where the alley is. Towards the alley.
If you move quickly to the alley's entrance and look in, go to 12. You rush over to the alleyway to find a young man in a brown corduroy jacket, green turtleneck, and blue jeans, threatening an old lady who's tightly clutching her large black purse. He whirls at your footsteps and growls, "Go away! Me and my grandma were having a talk." You don't believe that for a moment. Okay. You're going to have to do something about this. First, let's find out who's got the faster reaction in this combat encounter. Looks like you're fighting.
Oh, nice.
Look at your character sheet and find perception and the die code next to it.
Yes.
Take a number of dice equal to that number and blah, 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 roll it. Now, make sure you have the wild die first.
Okay.
Or that you know which one it
is. So do I roll 3 dice or 4? Because I have 3D.
So this is perception.
Yeah, perception. I have 3D.
So what do you have in front of the perception?
But if I used investigation, I would have 4D.
Truth, but it says roll perception.
Okay.
So initiative, I think, is just perception.
Right. Rolling it. I got 2 6s and a 5. The perception, the special one was a 6.
Okay. So all I care about is the total and if the wild die was a 1 or a 6.
It was a 6.
If the wild die, right. So add up all your dice.
17.
And keep rolling that wild die until it is not a 6.
Oh.
And you always add what it does, assuming it's a 6. Or yeah, you keep on rolling if it's a 6.
Well, now it's a 1.
Okay, that doesn't matter.
Okay.
All right, so what's your total?
Yeah, it is 12. I had a 17 when I rolled it. Yeah, 17, and now I have a 12.
No.
Yep.
That's not how it works.
Okay.
You always add.
Yeah. Oh, add an additional. So the 17, I would roll. So it's 18.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So it's always adding.
I see.
Okay. All right. So otherwise, wild die would suck.
Yeah. Right. Damn.
So if the die code, blah, 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 roll the dice and then select the option that matches the results on the wild die. Okay. So you rolled a 6 on the wild die. Go to 6. Okay, hold on. Choose your own adventure.
Yay.
You rolled a critical success on the wild die. Add the 6 to the total. You did that. As long as you get a blah, 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 blah. We already did that bullshit. Go to 10. You're a little quicker at assessing the situation than the mugger is. You get the chance to do something before he can react. What do you want to do?
What do you do? Well, I will definitely try to help this lady out. I don't have any weapons, according to this, but
get your mitts
and
your legs.
I'm good at running, so I guess I'm gonna run at him and try, because I can run real fucking fast. I got 10 meters. Is he 10 meters away?
He's pretty close. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna run and try to knock him down, I guess.
Oh, you're trying to knock him down. Okay. If you want, let's see. If you think he'll only listen to force, good night.
Oh shit.
Some people can be reasoned with, and others need to tap on their craniums to get their attention. Look at your character sheet and find brawling. So, did you put anything into brawling?
Brawling? Yeah. Reflexes? Brawling. I don't see that I have any brawling ability.
Okay, so you're going to be rolling reflexes. If you didn't, then look at the die code of the governing attribute, which is reflexes.
Yeah.
Take a number of dice, roll that bitch, and make sure that you have your wild die, remember?
Right. Yeah. I have the 2 white die and then the red. I might switch it to 2 red and the white. But oh shit. Ah! Okay. I rolled 11.
11? If the total on the dice is greater than or equal to 5, go to 8. Hold on a second. You give him a quick and sharp jab on the jaw. Ugh. The young man's eyes go wide. Oh my God. And he decides that this purse is not worth the hassle. He pushes quickly past you and runs down the street. Go to 14. The woman leans against the building wall, shaken but otherwise unhurt.
Mm-hmm.
When you offer to take her to a cafe just across the street, apparently, she gladly accepts. As you walk the little old lady across the road, you do think this, you have to. You think that it was nice to have a quiet day for a change. Go to 16. And I think that's it. In a full-length adventure, you'd have a lot more choices. You take the little old lady to the cafe. And as you're walking in, the door chimes, ding, 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 ding. She actually opens it for you. Do you enter? You see it needs a cafe, shotgun cafe, baristas and all that bullshit. And people kind of look up a little bit and then they're back at their computers.
Yeah. I'm going to go in.
As you do, you hear her in a sinister voice behind you growl, "Thanks." As you turn, perhaps, or do you just keep on going or what?
Yeah, I'll turn.
As you turn, you see the little old lady kind of hunched over like a cartoon villain. Her hair is all disheveled and stuff. As she drops the bag, you see these glass vials are all like full of, or what were full of some liquid. It has like a residue, looks acrid and such, and there's all like sort of arcane writing on them. As you see, she's coiffed them behind your back, sort of dribbling down her chin. As she starts bursting out of her skin, growing like Mr. Hyde. As she busts through the door frame, the door jamb explodes. Part of the building starts like crumbling. People are like, "Oh my fucking God!" Roll your perception. See how fast you go.
Okay. Perception. Wouldn't that be like a reflexes thing? Oh, I do have investigation and hide.
Nope. That is not it. It's
I rolled
perception.
Really bad. I rolled a 1 on the dice.
Okay, so by the rules, for the wild die, we'll just say you will say that you keep that. So what's the total you rolled?
4.
Okay, so you got 4. All right, so we'll see what the little old lady rolls.
She rolled better than that.
Actually, she rolled 4. No, she rolled 2.
2.
Yeah, because I rolled a 1 on the wild die and I took hers away, and then I also made it take away her highest roll. So she rolled a 2. As you go first, she's like growing and going nuts. What are you doing?
Yeah.
She's at this point about 6.5 feet tall when she was about 5 feet tall. And she's getting bigger.
I'm gonna run away into the kitchen.
Yeah. Okay, as you burst past some of the tables, knocking some over. You see people like, "Oh God!" Like falling on their asses. As you burst past them, knock some MacBooks off the table.
Sure.
Leap over the barista counter. Let's have a roll. Let's roll reflexes, or if you have acrobatics or something like that.
No, I don't have acrobatics. I'm gonna switch up my dice though.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot to add a +1. Oh shit.
Good.
So I got a 6 on the die, the weird die.
So add them all up. If you got a 6 on the wild die, you keep rolling it.
Okay, so it's 8.
As long as you have a 6, you always add.
Okay. I rolled a 3. 12.
So easy is 6. This is an 8. As you easily leap over this thing, don't even like not even touching it, like so you kind of like this barrel roll in front. The barista kind of ducks looking over you. As you spin over, you see like there's a latte. You grab it, drink it,
shit,
plop down, throw that shit down into the kitchen. There's a chef back there. I don't know why there's a chef. He's a bakery, baker chef. What are they called? Confectionery chef. He's like, big mustache. He turns with a knife. What are you doing back here? What are you doing back here?
I am going to say I think there's robbery in the other room.
You see blood.
Do you have a shot?
Flash up on the window, and you just hear mayhem going on as the sheriff's like, "Oh!" He drops the knife and runs out the back door.
Yeah.
His hat like pops up. The burners are on and everything.
I'm an aspiring hero. I'm not like a
Apparently.
hero. So I'm gonna pick up the phone and dial 911.
You do. You pick up the landline as you start dialing. Okay.
Yeah.
So it'll be the monster's turn. Blah, 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 blah. Where are you? Okay. Let's see if the monster sees you.
Clearly, no gift goes unpunished.
All right, with a 6. Are you in the back? You hear her coming closer. What do you do? What are you doing? They have not picked up yet.
I'm gonna go look for a big. Is there any boiling water on the stove?
Yeah, there's
like
boiling
just
water.
a big like spaghetti. I'm gonna grab some oven mitts and then grab the boiling water.
You've got the phone here because it's got a cord. Okay?
I'm gonna let the phone go. I'm just gonna let it fall.
As the camera sees that insert of the phone, like
it's dangled
against the wall, you go over oven mitts as the door explodes off its hinges. Wham! Slamming not just against the wall, the far wall, but into it. The metal door is stuck in the plaster as Grandma, now 8 feet tall, looking around. There you are! As her eyes are like glowing green and red.
Okay,
she's coming in.
Can I bid my marksman ability, which is coordination? Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna use my coordination, which is marksmanship, to hurl the water onto the.
I think that makes sense. Yep. As you do it, go ahead and roll. She's just standing there in the door jam, so it's pretty easy to hit her. We'll say it's a 6.
6.
So you gotta get 6 or above.
6 of burning oily water. I got way more than that. I'm rolling well. I got a 5 on the random die, so that's 10, 16, 18. 18. That's really good.
Yeah, damn. That's really good.
Right in her
give me
face.
1 second. Yeah, dude. See a number representing damage. Need to find damage really quick. How did they do damage? So it probably has a damage die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does. If I show.
I have 2D on my.
No, that's for your strength. Okay, so boiling water, we're gonna say that it's. I mean, it wouldn't kill you.
No, but it would hurt. It would just piss her
really
off.
Bad. Yeah, we'll call it 3 dice.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's got your boiling water is 3 dice. So roll 3 dice. The question is, does it do extra damage if you roll over? That's really the question I want to know.
Yeah, because I rolled like.
You rolled really well,
really?
And it seems like it would.
The accuracy was just on point, but boiling water only does so much.
Yeah.
You know how like the Wicked Witch in the West, like you threw water on it, so like that's the
seriously screwed up.
Just
give
like
me 1 second.
Looking for that I'm melting moment. I'll look on that thing.
Yeah, let's see.
B-O-I.
We need to do determining damage, so it's page 6.
Yeah.
Let's see. Damage and body points. You got damage resistance, of course. So pure cannon fodder. Any damage roll over their physique might cause them to keel over, while the main villain and her most important henchman should get the full complement. There's also killing blow. Just gave you a killing blow. All right, so you have body points. Which is what we're doing. Damage and wound levels. I kind of like wound levels, but we're just going to go body points since that's how we started. Once the player or game master has our character's damage resistance total, subtract the attacker's damage total from the target's damage resistance, and subtract the number from the total body points. If the game master chooses, she may compare the body points the character has remaining to the wound level to determine what level of injury the defender sustained and what its effects are. Okay, I kind of get that. Okay. Damage resistance. So how do you determine your damage resistance? Oh, determining damage is the page above that. If a character successfully hits the target, he may have done damage to it. Determine the number of damage, roll a damage die. Blah, 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 blah. Yes, we get all that bullshit. In this case, adding who gives a shit. So what happens is that if it has a asterisk, some weapons list their score as a die code with a plus sign in front of it. In this case, add the damage die code to the attacker's strength damage die code. Add modifiers and such. Okay, this is boiling water, so I don't think you add your strength to it.
Mm-mm.
After the player has figured out how much damage is done, go to the damage chapter to determine how much damage has sustained. Okay. This is not rules light.
No, it's not. Damage tools, stunned, wounded. Oh. I mean, I bet it'd be stun damage if I was gonna, but I don't think that.
Yeah, me too. The body point system has the advantage of a gradual fall into death. Huh. The wounds level, I know that. I want to know how to do the body points. Once the player has determined the damage resistance, see the next section. Okay. Figure all that out. Yeah, but it's not really explaining that very well.
No.
Massive damage option. Healing. How the fuck does this work? It seems like it really wants you to use wound levels.
Yeah. Combat options. A burst of fire is single is like, oh, that's marksmanship. Brawling melee combat, grab +2. I don't.
Okay, so damage resistance is the resistance total equals the target's physique plus any bonuses from armor, etc., etc., etc. So, for example, your damage resistance would be whatever your physique is. So, what is that? 3D.
2D.
Plus, it should be 3D. Do you have 2D?
Oh, physique? No, 3D. It's 3D.
Physique. Okay, your advantage is so equipment, heavy jacket, armor value +1. So when you take damage, you do 3D +1 because you have on your physique plus your heavy jacket.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your goodness is 3D +1. That's your damage resistance.
Sure.
Okay. So the monster rolls against your total. Now that you've dealt damage, I roll to see how much damage you actually dealt them.
Okay.
So that's what it is. And then if I want, I can look at wound levels and be like, okay, well, it also does this. So for example, wounds, damage total is greater than or equal to the resistance by 3, they're stunned, or they're wounded or severely wounded or whatever. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, so what was the total you rolled on damage?
That I just rolled, it's 10, 12?
50? 12?
Yeah, 12.
12? Okay, so she's going to roll.
But that was the second roll. The first time I rolled an 18.
Okay. So she's going to roll her physique, which is 5 dice.
Yeah, okay. She's stronger than me.
Yeah, she's really strong. Okay, so she rolled a 6 on the wild die.
I don't know how that's possible.
All right. Right. So you splash her in the face. You see that the boiling water splashes. She like blinks because it burns her eyes, but she wags her head like a dog, looking at you. Oh, you shouldn't have done that. As you can see, it didn't do anything to her. And she starts coming out, and she grabs for you. All right, so this would be your, I believe, reflexes.
Dodge. Can I use dodge?
Yeah, your dodge. Yeah, you can absolutely use dodge.
All right, because that I actually picked that as a skill tribute. So I'm rolling 4 die. 4 die. 40. Oh shit. I didn't roll a 6 or a 1. I got
That's good.
18, 20. I got 3 5s and 3.
All right, you rolled 20.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so she is going to roll her attack.
No, I got a 21.
She rolled her attack, and I rolled another 6, but she only has 3 dice on this one. So let's see, that is 9, 12. So she misses hard.
Mm-hmm.
Now, something that we haven't done, which I was just reading the example, that you can do. So she whiffs. Okay, as you just move back, you're holding this pot. On your turn, what you can do is this. You can split up your actions.
Oh, wow.
So on your turn, you can do one thing. Okay? Like one thing. I run through the door. Or I kick the door open. I pick this up and splash her with it. You can do that. Or you can say, I want to pick up the boiling pot of water, of pasta. She's got pasta in her hair, by the way. It's like all over her face and everything.
Yeah, clearly an Italian restaurant.
I want to pick up the pot of boiling pasta. I want to splash her with it. And I want to smack her in the face with a pan. You can do that.
Oh, wow.
What you have to do, though, is every action you do reduces your die pool by 1.
Okay.
So if you have 10 dice, you can do a lot of things, but you're rolling 1 die, right? As in if you take it all the way down. So if you want to do one thing really well, you don't split up your pool.
Right.
You could be like, I'm going to splash her and run. And I'd be like, cool, that's going to cost you a die. So instead it would be of 3 die plus 1, it'd be 2 die plus 1.
Sure.
That kind of thing. Okay. So you can split up your die pool and do multiple actions. Let me read this combat example really fast. That actually makes sense. All right. Rochelle says, I'm going to take 2 actions. First, I'll shoot at the bad guy with my rifle, and then I'm going to dodge out of the way. So dodge is an action. Okay. You lose 1 die from each action, and you don't get the full defense since you're taking 2. So that's how it works. You just drop dice. So do you want to do multiple things as she whiffs, or do you want to do one thing, or what?
I want to do one thing really well. I want to run away.
Yeah, sure.
I just threw boiling water on her, and she's like, you didn't hurt me.
Yep. So roll
again. I'm an
dodge.
Aspiring hero.
Roll dodge, and we'll see if you are able to get away from her before she bursts through the door and grabs onto you.
Oh, I thought that she already did that.
Yeah, she did, but
we're doing it again.
I'm doing the thing where like she's right there, and you're taking the action of dodge. And I'm saying that she's going to attempt to stop you.
Okay. Dodging.
The difficulty is going to be, I'm not telling you.
Okay. It is, I rolled a 6 on the die.
Uh-huh.
And then I rolled a 2 on the die, so that's 8.
I'm going to rip you in half. I steal from Deadpool.
8.
Drink your bowels. I don't know why she would do that, but that's what she's saying. I hate pasta.
18.
With an 18, you beat her by 12. As you slap her in the face.
Jesus.
Boom. Bust out the door, and you're in the parking lot. Bravely running away.
I'll probably be, as I'm running, screaming at the top of the lungs. So if somebody on 911 heard that.
Yeah.
And I'm oh shit.
You are hauling ass as you parkour over a chain link fence. Parkour!
Yeah.
Yelling as you do. You land flats down. It's a cool cinematic moment where you're like really close, depth of field, or shallow depth of field behind you, but you're like crouched down. As you look up, your hair all over the place. Behind you, you see the bloodbath that is ensuing in the cafe as you run past camera off screen.
I'm gonna run around the block and go on the other side. I'm not gonna just leave these. Back? Yeah, I'm not just leaving. I'm just running around like.
So aerial view as you're like.
Yes.
As you get to the front door, you get in, you see it's all busted up and everything. It is a massacre, a bloodbath. There's like the espresso machine is taken off as like a little fountain of water. People are impaled on shit and just like torn in half and half eaten.
But remember, aspiring hero. I think I'm doing pretty good. I didn't just run away. Do I see her anyway?
No.
she didn't follow me out.
No.
All right.
She killed everyone in here.
I'm gonna slowly kind of go searching for her, see if she's.
All right. So there should be some sort of sneaking. Yeah, there is. It's under reflexes.
Yeah, it's.
Do you have sneak?
Sneak. I'm gonna sneak.
Okay.
Sneak.
Let's see if she hears you.
I rolled a 5.
I roll so well.
Rolled a 12.
What did you get? All right, 12. As you're moving,
no,
where are you going?
13. I guess to the kitchen, towards the kitchen.
Yeah, as you step over the bodies and over a table and such, and there's people just wide-eyed looking at you, and you get to where the kitchen door was. The door jam's all busted out when she went through. As you get to it, you can hear the burners on, and you hear this panting on the inside as you slowly turn or come around the corner and look. Her hair is all down in front of her face. She's facing where the burners are and just sort of like panting, standing there like this massive gorilla covered in gore and blood and everything. You see the phone is ripped off the wall. And the kitchen looks like just destroyed. There's gas going. Burners are just like going like campfires in here. It's hot as hell. Yeah. And she doesn't seem like she sees you. Maybe she even like turns and looks, but like you duck back really quick. She almost sees you. What do you do?
That's a good question. I'm gonna say
she's panting, by the way.
I'm gonna say, darling, you okay in there? And
she turns.
I'm gonna use my persuasion ability, my presence persuasion, and say, is there anything I can get you? Do you want a warm cup of tea?
All right, roll persuasion, and we'll see if you get past her fury, which is substantial. Although she'll be down a die because she's starting to pant.
Yeah. Oh shit. Persuasion. I don't get any bonuses. I got a 5
We'll give you a
on the
die
thing.
bonus. We'll give you a die bonus just because you're attempting to use some sort of kindness and maybe seeing that she's actually tired.
So that's with the die bonus. That's an additional 1, so that's 18.
Okay. As she, who is that? I thought I killed everyone in there. But she doesn't move.
I really tried to save you. I think if we just talk this through, honey.
Talking's for the weak. As she slams something.
We'll get this taken care of. What's going on?
There's nothing to take care of. I'll live forever this way. Ah! She like throws something against the wall on your side. tiles, ding, 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 and you see the plaster crack.
Can I bid another ability I have, which is a presence ability called Charm? I have an extra.
Well, you can.
Or do
you
I
can't
need
bid
to?
anything.
Yeah.
But you can
I
take
roll
an
for
action since it's your turn.
And I'm going to try and charm her, and it says, Ma, you've got a mighty strong throwing arm. You're going to live forever, aren't you?
Roll it. I love that. I'll take her down one more die. So.
I did roll a 1 on the...
You can keep it, though.
The bad one. That is only a 6, 9, 10.
Remember, you have 10 character points and...
Do I need to bid the character points?
You just use them.
You just use... So that's for an extra dice?
Yeah.
Can I do what?
And it doesn't say you can't use them all if you wanted to, so it's up to you.
I just want to use one more character point? I need to mark that down then?
Yeah.
Maybe. Seems like this is important. I might use 2 character points just for funsies.
Do it. So roll 2 die and add it to your total.
What did I say I had?
I think you said 9.
No, I think it was 10.
Was it 10?
Yeah, so it's 17. Rolled
so total's what?
17. I rolled a 6 and a 1.
All right. The difficulty is 15.
Oh, wow.
As she turns, I am going to live forever. As she moves towards you and looks around the corner. Are you standing there?
I'm gonna move away. I'm gonna try and hide.
Yeah, so you're trying to hide. Okay. Go ahead and roll sneak as you hear her coming up. She's moving rather quickly, so this is a difficult roll.
I have perception. In perception, I have hide. Is that finding a hide?
Actually, I can look that up. Hold on.
Or is that me looking for someone, or somebody looking for me?
It's probably you hiding.
Yeah.
But let me see. Concealing objects both on oneself and using camouflage.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna perception. I'm gonna hide.
Yep.
Hided. I didn't get a 6 on the die.
Okay.
So
this is a difficult roll.
6, 8. It's not great. It's 13.
Okay. Let me see.
Just above average is what that is. For a bonus.
Make sure that I get this right. Just for the game to kind of know. I'm using some of my just general knowledge, obviously, to do this. Let's see. I want to know. The difficulties. Examples of difficulties.
Thinking.
Okay.
Tell me what's on your mind. Pure energy.
All right, so they have tables for all this sort of stuff. Looks like it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Okay. So 5, 10, 15. Yeah, so the difficulty is 15.
Okay. Well, I
What'd
didn't.
You get?
I only got. I think I only got. I think I only got a 13.
All right, as you hide, you see her come into the room, but you have a feeling, a suspicion she may have seen you.
Yeah.
But she's not quite as incited. She's panting though. You see her walking wide and around, and you realize she did see you. She gets around to the front. There's distance between you, but she's taking her time. As she gets around to the front door, you might notice something. You can roll perception. Yeah, how about investigation, since you haven't used that?
Investigation.
Difficulty will be difficult.
Oh, I have
But
an
you might-
advantage. I have an extra dice on investigation. I picked it.
That's right.
I picked it.
That's right.
I was a picker of that.
You're a picker.
Oh,
You
shit.
pick.
I rolled a 2 on the die. So it's 13 again.
All right. So the difficulty is 15.
Oh, no.
Since it's very difficult.
Oh, should I use another character point?
I
Can
would.
can I do that? I
Sure.
thought we're playing an easy mode, aren't we?
Yeah.
All right,
I don't know. I mean, this is a really tough bad guy.
It is tough. That is
You
2,
don't
so I
have
got a
any
15.
weapons.
I don't have any weapons.
Yeah. You almost don't notice it, but she's not 8 feet anymore. She's like 6 feet.
Oh.
Still taller than you. She's shrunk and she's sweating profusely.
Oh, wow.
As she's standing at the front of the store, looking around, she's staring directly at you,
Mhm.
smiling this wicked smile. I know who you are, and I'd appreciate the cup of tea. And then I'm gonna kill you. As she reaches down and picks up her purse and is like rifling around in it.
Do you need some
Ding,
Do you
ding,
need
ding,
some-
ding, 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 ding.
like bus money? I mean, I'm gonna slowly head back to the kitchen, and
Don't
I
you
got
go anywhere. She
I
picks
was
up
just-
like a rock and almost hits you in the head with it. Shh, stay exactly where you are.
I was just gonna make you some tea. You said you wanted some tea.
Yeah, just give me a second. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, what do you do?
I reach into my pocket and I give her $2.
As you walk up to her. All right, fine. You hand her $2. Oh my God, no one's ever done that. As you see her finally shrink down into her old woman form, she looks up at you covered in gore and blood. The youth of today don't respect their elders. She turns and leaves. Okay, that was it.
Oh shit!
As you find yourself standing there in the
guess
midst of this cafe, gore.
I have
The
was it-
barista, like, who was hiding in like one of the cabinets.
I'm gonna go and see if I can perform triage on some of the gored out people.
They're all dead.
They're all
They're
dead.
done. They're done.
Oh.
But the rampage has stopped. What do you think of the game?
I think it's interesting.
Interesting.
It's interesting.
It's interesting.
We played it in a relatively short amount of time. We built the character. I mean, we kind of built the
Kinda.
character.
But building the character it's not going to be very difficult.
Sure. It seems like they should add boiling water. There's magic. I mean, we didn't go into magic or healing.
No. Well, we ran through their template adventure, but I wanted
Yeah.
to give it something a little bit.
Yeah,
I wanted you to actually
feel
see
like
combat.
I feel like part 2 was you. It's like we got to a degree, and or was that the big baddie in the?
No,
That
the
was
big
your-
baddie is you knock the guy in the face and he runs away, or and you help the woman across the street to a cafe.
Yeah. I mean, I
That's
felt
it.
like that was the end right there.
Yeah, that's the end. That is the end.
And then we kind of.
But what you don't know is that she wants to live forever and stole some of Dr. Jekyll's Hyde juice. And
So I was looking at.
you charmed her and she liked you even though she's going to kill you. And you gave her $2. She's like, holy shit.
Yeah,
Maybe you're worth saving.
yeah, maybe.
That's the story.
So they've
You're an
got
aspiring
different.
hero. It's all your
They've
fault.
got different damage types. Botulism is 4D. Cold is 1D. So I would say the boiling water is probably 1D.
Right.
Cyanide
Well, it's just her
is-
damage resistance is
Yeah.
her physique was 6 dice when she's in
shit.
Hyde mode.
Yeah.
So she was at the full Hyde mode, so it was 6 dice, and she just rolled really high.
Electricity standard wall outlet is 1D, but a major
Yeah, I was
power
thinking-
line is 9D.
So my idea for her was fire didn't really do much to her.
Mhm.
Heat and fire and those things really didn't do
Oh
much.
shit.
But like electricity would have hurt her.
Okay.
Like actually like jacked her up. Not
Jack-
like she's like what's the word? Vulnerable to it.
Sure.
It's that it's not like a weakness. It's just that it hurts her.
So like if I
Whereas
went
like
in
Frankenstein, it wouldn't have.
cut the cord of some like blender
Power line or something. Yeah, maybe.
Stuck or put water on the floor and put the.
Honestly, I thought she was going to rip you in half.
Yeah, I thought she was too.
That's what I thought was going to happen. I
just rolled well. Those were some high rolls. I mean, I was rolling 5s and 6s.
Yeah. So. It's a fun game, D6. There's a lot of rolls. You can do a lot with your character is the fun thing. So you didn't really split your roll up too much, but once you build a full character and you have like 4 or 5 dice in investigation or whatever, you can do that and be like, okay, well, I'm still going to be able to make these investigation rolls at the same time as like going down the way and shooting somebody or busting out a door or whatever it is.
Yeah. And it looks like they do have quite a bit of, like, they've got magic, skill difficulties.
I'm interested about the magic just because magic systems are always, honestly, they're usually not very good.
They got some cantrips.
I mean, it's probably D&D spell style stuff.
Yeah.
If it's more theater of the mindy, like, okay, you have fire magic and you do stuff with fire. What do you want to do? Oh, well, I want to fill the room with a fireball. Okay, well, let's roll your extra normal. It's 4 dice, or else if you don't hit 6, it burns you, or something like that. I think it'd be pretty interesting.
They got a spell called Meal, which allows you to. It's got a difficulty of 4, with and you get 1. You can just manifest a kilogram of bread and water. Yeah.
So it's basically like a D&D spell, except you have to roll to see if you succeed.
Got open lock.
That's fun.
They got a deadly bullet, which I'm sure is what is that? Firebolt.
So it's one of those things where, like, in these games, they're cool. They're cool. But let's say it's a difficulty of, like, I don't know. Let's say the difficulty is 10.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever get 10 dice or 11 dice, you always do it.
Yeah.
Right? 10 dice is a lot.
Open lock is a difficulty 5. They got a thing called Deadly Bullet, which is difficulty 10, and it does.
Is it 10 die or 10?
It says difficulty 10. I don't know what that means.
Okay. What that means is when you roll your extra normal, you need a 10 or higher.
Yeah. So, and then it does 18 plus 4d damage. So it.
Wow.
It also has some negatives, like it's got a components that you need, that I guess like black obsidian, which is apparently hard to find, and it's destroyed at the end of it. It's got a dart.
It sounds cool. It sounds cool. I think in practice, it's probably not.
Yeah.
Imagine you get a gun. Imagine you get like a big gun in Into Space, or your lightsaber, for example, your laser sword. And then I'm like, cool, you got this laser sword. It's got 2 uses.
Right.
You're like, okay, cool. Well, where do I find power packs? You're going to be constantly looking for power packs. And there's this idea of, do you meticulously mark down how much ammunition you use?
I do.
Like, it gets tedious.
I do. I mean, I did until for the Into Space. I definitely would mark down like in game to a degree, and then when we got to the end of it, I was just like, well, you just recharge.
Yeah, you re-up it.
Yeah,
right. So that's the kind of thing, though. But that's fine because how we play Into Space. But let's say you had Death Bullet, and it pretty much kills everything. It's like, well, how much obsidian do you have?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I got a bag of obsidian. I mean, what player? Yeah. So I like went to this volcano, and I like had this bag of obsidian.
Yeah.
You know, of course. And then, so those things don't.
It has some negative. It's got a feedback of -3, so that's, I guess you take 3 damage every time you do it.
Probably.
It's got focus +5. I don't know what that means. I guess it's an accuracy thing.
Magic rules. It's probably magic rules.
And then there's a gesture that you have to do, so you can't just be tied up and do this deadly bullet. You gotta
it's a somatic component.
You gotta rub the tip of the bullet on the stone,
yeah, you do.
and then you gotta say like, a word, darkness of death, is what they're and then
Darkness of death.
Yeah, that was their, or a few words. You can't be downed. You can't do it.
You shall die by this bullet. Hold on a second as I load it.
Yeah, right. This will be your doom. Pop. Or like, may
this bullet continue. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, may Sarah Rista be your guiding light.
So, I think it's an interesting game. You want to read us out?
Sure.
And we can play this another day. I think getting people on here and actually playing it would be cool.
I think
maybe a magic game.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think.
But yeah, we're sitting at 2:30. I think we're good. I also need to eat.
Yeah, food is really great. Well, thanks everyone for joining us today on the Geeky Gamer Podcast.
Geeky Gamer Podcast.
We featured the game Adventure D6 is what it's called. Adventures.
D6 Adventure.
D6 Adventure. D6 Adventure, where it's entirely D6 based game played by Arbiter Bill and Ken, the player.
Player Ken.
Player Ken.
Kenny.
As with every Geeky Gamer podcast, we're live at 3 p.m. exactly Eastern time.
Exactly.
On whatever date, on Monday to Wednesday, Thursdays. Thanks for all of these letters and Mr. Interrupt for the music, and Couchfire Media for the production, and Toy Replay Productions for all the other shit
whatever they do.
They do
Something.
Do you have any last words, Bill?
No. Next week we'll have a guest, we think, and if we don't, we're going to be trying out another game that I have. Maybe getting Mildred on here, perhaps.